Welcome to Thoughts on the Market. I'm Michael Zezas, Morgan Stanley's Global Head of Fixed Income and Thematic Research. Along with my colleagues bringing you a variety of perspectives, today I'll be talking about recent developments in the U.S. election. It's Wednesday, September 4th at 10:30 a.m. in New York. While news headlines might make it seem a lot has changed in recent weeks around the U.S. election, in our view, not much has changed at all. And that's important for investors to understand as they navigate markets between now and Election Day on November 5th. Let me explain. In recent weeks, we've had the Democratic Convention, fresh polls, and a third-party candidate withdraw from the race and endorse former President Trump. But all appear to reflect only marginal impacts on the probabilities of different electoral outcomes. Take the withdrawal of independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which does not appear to be a game changer. Historical precedent is that third-party candidates rarely have a path to even winning one state's electoral votes. Further, in polls, voters tend to overstate their willingness to support third parties ahead of Election Day. And it's also not clear that Kennedy withdrawing clearly benefits Democrats or Republicans. Kennedy originally ran for president as a Democrat, and so is thought to be pulling from likely Democratic voters. However, polls suggest his supporters' next most likely choice was nearly split between Trump and Harris. So while it's possible that Kennedy's decision to endorse Trump upon dropping out could be meaningful, given how close the race is, we're unlikely to be able to observe that potentially marginal but meaningful effect until after the election has passed. And such effects could easily be offset by small shifts favoring Democrats, who are showing some polling resiliency in states where just a couple months ago the election was not assumed by experts to be close. For example, Cook Political Report, a site providing nonpartisan election analysis, shifted its assessment of the presidential election outcome in North Carolina from lean Republican to a toss-up. Similarly, in recent weeks, the site has shifted states like Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia into the same category from lean Republican. These shifts are mirrored in several other polls released last week, showing a close race in the battleground states. So, for all the changes and developments in the last week, we think we're left with a presidential race that's difficult to view as anything other than a toss-up. To borrow a term from the world of sport, it's a game of inches. Small improvements for either side can be decisive, but as observers, we may not be able to see them ahead of time. And so that brings us back to our guidance for investors navigating the run-up to the election. Let the democratic process unfold, and don't make any major portfolio shifts until more is known about the outcome. That means the economic cycle will drive markets more than the election cycle in the next couple months. In our view, that favors bonds over stocks. Lower inflation enables easier monetary policy and lower interest rates, good for bond prices. But growth concerns should weigh on equities. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a review wherever you listen, and share thoughts on the market with a friend or colleague today.
The preceding content is informational only and based on information available when created. It is not an offer or solicitation, nor is it tax or legal advice. It does not consider your financial circumstances and objectives and may not be suitable for you.